to Medicine with the Metals. I'm Mark, and this is Michelle. Join us on our psychedelic journeys. Hey, Michelle, what a week, huh?
Yeah, it has definitely been a great week. We had Thanksgiving, but prior to Thanksgiving, we went on a journey, didn't we?
We sure did. We don't do journeys about every 3 months to shake up that space in the head and get refocused again. And mine was pretty well. So you, on the other hand, that's why we always say, I don't think probably well is the term. I think everybody's journey is a little different. We all
Yeah,
have
I
things to work on.
I do. We talk to our clients about how important it is to go on these journeys every once in a while, and we're talking about psilocybin here, and we talk about going on that journey to straighten things up, right? When you're feeling out of sorts. And you do this every 3, 4 months, whatever's comfortable for you. So, and we're not talking about a big, huge, heroic journey, just a small one, 1 or 2 grams. So Mark and I did it on last Sunday, and it was a lot of lessons learned.
Always our lessons, aren't they, Michelle? And speaking about lessons, we got a really great guest today. I went to SoulQuest down in Orlando with this guest. Today we're going to have Jessica Marie from One World Heart. And she's going to be talking about 5-MeO, or some people could know it as Bufo, but we also know it as the God molecule. What an amazing medicine that is, isn't it?
Powerful, powerful.
Powerful.
All of these medicines are powerful in many different ways, and they all help us to achieve higher learning. But Bufo is one that it's called the God molecule for a reason. And it's
Yeah,
an
I think it
incredible
really shows
medicine.
your source.
It allows us to understand source and where we fit into it. It's pretty cool. I'm excited
Definitely.
to
So
hear from her.
me too. I love this subject. I like this is an awesome topic to talk about. I think a lot of people, they experiment with a lot of these medicines to get to that next level, to feel the next level. And this is one that will really, man, this is one that will really bring you to that next level.
It
So
does. It does. Well,
gonna welcome
excited.
Jessica today. Yeah, I'm really,
Yeah.
really, really excited to see her.
Well, let's take a commercial break from one of our affiliates, and we'll be right back with Jessica.
Tired of feeling like you're barely holding on? Are you searching online for answers, only to come up with more questions? Looking for ways to feel better and make life more livable? There is a way where you can feel better and take on the world. Transforming your mental health, nourishing both your body and mind. Embark on a journey to lasting happiness and vitality, all powered by the wisdom of Mother Earth.
So today we have an amazing story. We have Jessica Marie. Jessica's from One World Heart, and I met Jessica maybe 3, 4 years ago out at a church in Orlando, Florida. you know, and she's got a really good story. I think we all stayed on this path a little bit, and we found that this was a real blessing for us all. And she's going to talk a little bit about what she does, 5-MeO. Other people know it as Bufo, but I'm going to let her introduce herself. Good morning, Jess.
Good morning, Mark, and thank you guys so much again for having me. It's a real honor, and yeah, it's been such an incredible couple of years. All this beautiful work and seeing everybody come together and just do some really, really beautiful projects. And it's just, every day is just such a big opportunity to be grateful for all that we have and all that we've been through. And I'm just flabbergasted with life and with being blessed with the opportunity to steward these sacred sacraments and to be there for people in any way that they need on their journey home. So I, through a series of events and synchronicities, I ended up working with the toad medicine Bufo, 5-MeO-DMT, which, I mean, that along with other sacraments has completely transformed my life and the lives of so many others. And I'm so grateful. And also combo that's so healing and cleansing, and psilocybin mushrooms. And I was also certified through Being True to You as a psychospiritual transformational psychedelic integration coach.
Okay, I
Oh,
don't
you
think
got
that I knew
all the
that.
kit and caboodle, right?
You do. So how did you get, let's talk about how you first got started. What called you to plant medicines, and how did you get started down this path?
Well, I was very, very ill. I had been diagnosed almost a decade prior with fibromyalgia, which is a chronic autoimmune nervous system condition that causes really debilitating chronic pain, as well as fatigue, exhaustion, a whole myriad of different symptoms. And it's under the umbrella with MS and lupus. And even though I did everything that the doctors told me to do over the years, from taking the medicines to just any techniques that they could give me to try to help, I just kept getting worse and worse. And I had a little girl. I was married, and I gave birth to a beautiful little girl, my daughter Jasmine. And when I had her, for quite a long time, it was very challenging for me to even hold her. Like, I would have to lay next to her on the bed or on the ground and like cuddle her and put my hands on her, because even just holding her would cause really excruciating, inexplicable pain. And I realized that I had to figure it out. I had done everything the doctors had suggested. I was getting worse, and I needed to find a way. And so fast forward a few years, because I could barely walk by the time I came to the medicines. I couldn't take her to the park, because if she got away from me, I couldn't run after her and get her. And it was like by synchronicity, or divine intervention, I came across this article. Ayahuasca and shamans had kind of kept coming into my awareness. I've always been a meditator. I have just a little guided meditations channel on YouTube that has a couple of meditations on it. It's called Soul Journey Meditations. And it's always been a very important practice for me. But I kept getting shamans and ayahuasca, and I had no idea about any of it. And I ended up reading an article, and it said that they were investigating and doing research, and that they believed that ayahuasca could create neurogenesis and neuroplasticity in the brain, which a light bulb just really went off for me, because I'm like, that's a medical miracle. In DARE and other programs, we learned that the brain tissue would be eroded. And once it was eroded, there was no possibility in growing it back or really changing it. It was just stuck there. Like, I don't know if anybody remembers, but they would, show the slides of like the Swiss cheese looking brain. And so that it clicked in for me. And I was like, this means that it can regrow brain tissue. And then I had a further epiphany, because I was like, if this can regrow brain tissue, fibromyalgia is a nervous system condition. And so all of the nerves are comprised of the same tissue as the brain. So I just got this crazy idea in my head that if I drank enough of this brew, I could regrow and regenerate and heal my nervous system. And so I immediately was like, where can I do this? And, I found Soul Quest, and it was stateside. It was a couple days. The price point, it wasn't thousands and thousands of dollars. So I wouldn't have to, travel abroad. I could leave and come home in a few days to be there for my daughter. It wasn't unaffordable. And I saw that they had, a doctor on staff and paramedics, and I was like, okay. So, because with all these health issues, I was like, realistically, I have no idea how I'm going to respond to this. And so having the the doctor and the paramedics was just really gave me all the good feels. And so I literally booked a retreat for the following weekend and got on a plane, and I went down to Soul Quest, and I started drinking the ayahuasca there, and I was like, this is it. And the journeys for about the first year were excruciatingly painful. Being on the medicine and the recovery for me physically, because I felt like it was really purging a lot of this energy out of my nervous system that had been making me sick. But I just, the first time I was there, all these things just made so much sense. And I was like, this is what the church is meant to be. I feel like this was the original intention, is people coming together and in unconditional love, in neutrality, in compassion, in non-judgment, and just being present and holding space for, their brothers and sisters to release and to heal, and connecting on all the beautiful things we have in common, and celebrating life and celebrating growth. And I was just like, I don't know where this is going to take me, but because I had no idea I would be doing any of this work at all. And I had no intention, of doing that. I just was like, I really need to be able to take my daughter to the park, And so,
and how did you feel after that first weekend? How did you feel?
I felt a new inspiration for life. I felt like everything had finally made sense. As soon as the ayahuasca kicked on, I was like, oh my God, because I had been doing journey work without psychedelics, but I had never done them, so I didn't know how they worked. I hadn't experienced it, so I didn't know. And I was like, wow, I'm doing journey work, but like I'm quantum, like I'm everywhere, and like there's all the these things happening, and just because I would go into my psyche journey in there and see what was troubling and what was causing pain. I had been doing the work for a while, but like I was not able to move it out or purge it. And the ayahuasca, I mean, it was just like, I was like, I'm in here with an excavation tool, and I was able to just really start purging these energies, and really start, just cleaning up everything internally. And it changed my life. And the second time I went, because I heard about the volunteer program, and so I was happy to volunteer. And then every time I went from there on out, I would go down and I would drink a weekend, and I would volunteer for a weekend just to be in the environment. And because it's just such a deep, deep honor to be there for others, and just
you definitely explained a lot of how this all works. I mean, people say, how'd you find this medicine? How'd you do? You really explained this pathway really well, because we get that notion, then we kind of look into that, and then we do it, and then we say, oh my God, look what this did for me. And then you talk about the purgatories, which, I think is the most beneficial part of this medicine. I mean, by far. And then all your releases. So the whole process came, and then you just started becoming more aware of yourself. And I love how this medicine works like that. It just really can purge you, and then you refresh with new, and your neurons are all changing. And at the same time, it's all just encompassing, and it's really powerful. And I remember a lot of things. I think you nailed a lot of points really well. I think, that church really built a good community, and I think that's what we were missing. And there was some parts of it where there was COVID involved, and there was this involved. So the opportunity that we had there, we were blessed. I mean, I don't think we could have ever had better timing, better timing, but we were just blessed with how that happened. And, then you dove into this other area of Bufo. And, after my few experiences with ayahuasca, because I sat with that medicine quite a bit to get that purge out. But, there was still something missing. And after about sitting with this medicine 20 sometimes, Bufo, I experienced Bufo, and holy smokes, that was just like next level. Now I understand. Now I see. And, being on this path for this long, and not this long, but just doing this and seeing how these medicines work, there is a pathway to these medicines for sure. So let's talk a little bit about 5-MeO and Bufo and how that incorporated into your healing.
Yeah, so I ended up through Soul Quest, I got invited to a Bufo ceremony that was going to be down there. And I'll never forget the moment I was invited. I just, I got goosebumps and the hair stood up on my arms. And I said, I don't know what that is, but I need to do it. And in that moment, and they were like, well, awesome, but you should probably, and I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I feel like there is a frequency that it's going to really help to anchor and spread through my body. And as I connect with that and ground and anchor that frequency in, it's going to inevitably just heal my body because it's going to raise my vibration so profoundly and so fast. I had heard a mix of things from all kinds of different people about it. And I just decided, I'm like, I'm not going to research this. I'm not going to watch any videos because I'm not going to talk myself out of it. I know I need to do this. And it just felt so deeply in alignment with my soul and with my path. And I very much trusted the people who invited me, and my brothers and sisters, like some of them from Soul Quest, were present. We did a temazcal in the morning, a sweat lodge, which was really beautiful. We did the combo following that, and then we did the Bufo in the afternoon, and we did a mushroom ceremony that night. It changed my life forever in a really big way, and I felt like it just got so deep in there. Like, I feel like Bufo in a lot of ways is like a heart surgeon, because it just gets in there and it just gets the root of a lot of things and pulls it out. And,
Michelle, we'll talk about this a little bit. It's very hard to explain that experience more so than any of them because it is such quick, powerful, and when you come back, you know, really, you just know, you're like, wow, there's something there. And I really believe, and get me if I'm wrong here because you're more experienced in this than I do, but I really believe that's like that is really death. That's what you're going to experience when death, that DMT release, and it's really correlations that are so similar to what people say when they die to that experience. What do you think, Michelle?
I have done Bufo myself twice, and the second time I was able to really let go. The first time I was so scared that I was just holding on, right? I was just holding on really tight, and it happened so fast. I mean, there's Bufo happens so fast, and so the second time I said, I'm really going to let this go, and I went into it with a real intention of understanding death. I'm going to cry because it was that powerful. So when we did it, I said, I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to let myself go, and I'm not going to be afraid. And I did that. And I went in as deep as one could go, I think. And I went to the other side, and Mark and I, in this ceremony, we were with two other vets also, and we decided that we were going to video the ceremony for lots of reasons, very personal ones. So we did. And I'm so glad I did, because afterwards, when I watched it, I kept saying throughout my whole experience, I get it. I get it. I understand. I understand. And I just kept saying that over and over again. I get it. And that's it. You get it. And somebody said to me after, what'd you get? What do you get? Everything. I fucking get it. Everything. Everything there is to get, I got it. And it happened in like 13 minutes. So it's one of the most powerful medicines that I've ever encountered, ever.
I completely agree with you 100%. And thank you for sharing that beautiful experience. I mean, like when Yeah, there were a lot of people there when I did it the first time. There were, I think, probably about 20 people doing it, but then there were a lot of just medicine family and friends that had come. So there were probably like 60 people or so watching, and they picked me to go first.
Oh, wow.
And, right. And so I'm like, okay. And they hold up the prayer for me to read it. And like, I start reading it loud because I have no idea what's going on. I didn't, I didn't watch any of this. I had no idea what to expect. I start reading it. And as I get a few sentences down, I realize what's happening. And like, I just burst into tears, and I'm like reading the prayer, and I'm like, just crying. And then, yeah. And when I woke up, I just had tears streaming down my face, because I actually, when I woke up, I initially believed that I had died and I was in heaven and I was in the afterlife now. And there was a lovely woman next to me, and I just pulled her down on top of me and cried, and she hugged me for about 10 minutes.
The beautiful experiences, and just, I mean, how we explain it, you can't explain that feeling. So, we just try to do the best we can for our audience. But why don't you tell us a little bit about your mystery school? Tell us a little bit about that, what you do there.
Well, that is something that is developing as anything does. I'm always learning something, my greatest gift, if someone could give me a gift, would be the library on Beauty and the Beast. Just I'm always learning new things. And, I started kind of dabbling into occult sciences, magic, mystic traditions, but I didn't tell anybody about it I started when I had started college. And, I've been, it's been almost 20 years. And so there's so many different facets to it, and I'm learning so many more things currently. But the way that it is looking right now, I'm very tied to the 13 moons and the Rosa Mystica, which is, they're two separate lineages, but also the dream spell calendar. And a lot of people would say it would be the Mayan calendar. They're mathematically an interchangeable system. They can be added together, which it was very bizarre. When I first encountered them, I looked at it, and I had never seen it before, but it's like, it made sense to me. And I was like, it really blew me for a loop. And then within 24 hours, I figured out I could mathematically interchange them. And I was adding them together without using any math. And it was just this really bizarre experience. But those calendars, the dream spell calendar, are what the synchronicities from utilizing and just simply paying attention to it is what ultimately led me on my path to Soul Quest. And like all of the dates where I would have, that I chose to go there, for example, I was like, well, this weekend's going to work, and I booked it. And then I looked on the calendar, and it was a day that carried a lot of meaning for me, and really significant events with my life, such as meeting, chance meetings with new teachers, new opportunities would synchronistically occur on these dates that had demonstrated significance to me. And the beauty of that is the fact that every single person is different and has their own journey. And so by your simple awareness of this and observation of it, just literally looking at it, and just being aware that it's there, and reading the mantra and looking at the glyph on a daily basis, it connects you to a frequency that is 1320, or a Fibonacci sequence of life, which is in rhythm with the cosmos, and it's mathematically perfect, as opposed to what we've been dealing with the Gregorian calendar, which was basically implemented as a form of like political gerrymandering. So they would manipulate the timing dates with the elections. And it caused harmonic catastrophe through matter, because Jose Arguelles is the progenitor of that. And he has a quote, and he says, time is the universal synchronization factor of matter. So time, as we know it, is where frequency, intention, everything culminates in the physical to this moment. That's what time is. So how this works, how it benefits people, you know, in a more easily explained way is going to be a big part of that. But I also offer, you know, I do all kinds of different rituals that I don't really tell people about, but you know, just demonstrating how to do that, and you know, different rituals, and different, you know, take people through different initiatory gateways, and hold space in containers. But it's something I definitely don't take lightly in any way. It's just like medicine work to me. It's extremely serious, and so I am just doing a lot of work in that regard, and I'm being held in several containers of really wonderful women as I go through these processes as well. And when the timing is right, things will take off.
Absolutely.
What kind of offerings do you have? What do you offer right now?
In the school, I don't have anything specific being offered at this time. I have recently started channeling the beginning of what I believe will be an offering through the Mystery School, which is synced up with the Galactic Dream Spell Calendar. And so what I was kind of seeing from that was it would be like a transmission, and we would gather. There are 20 wave spells in a 13 moon spin, 20 wave spells of 13 days each. So, you know, about a half moon, which would make 13, but over the course of the entire year. But each one is very significant. And so basically on, you know, like today is magnetic sun. And so today is the start of a new wave spell. And I will read you guys today's mantra from the glyph. It says, I unify in order to enlighten, attracting life. I seal the matrix of universal fire with the magnetic tone of purpose. I am guided by my own power doubled. And these calendrical systems are really unique in the fact that for at least the past couple thousand years, a majority of information has been relayed and taught through logos, or the masculine, the logic of the brain. These calendars they go in a 9-month, 260-day cycle, which is the process of gestation, and it's divine feminine in nature. And these really, like the medicine, harmonize you with your feelings and your intuition and your heart space. So these things, like, people over time have tried to really explain this. And this is one thing I've noticed, which is really lacking within these modalities, is everybody's trying to explain it with their logical mind, but that's not how they operate. It's not how they work, and it's not how the mystery is transmitted. The mystery is transmitted through the heart and through the feeling, so through our frequency. And so you and each one of us are the mystery and become the mystery. And the frequency and connecting to it with intention simply unlocks every person's unique mystery, from from the things you've gone through in life, to your personal gifts, to your ancestral lineage, to the collectives that you're connected to directly. Each person, like a flower, is unique in that nature, and everyone's been trying to explain it through the mind instead of through the heart and the feminine way that it is that it is transmitted and
Well,
expressed.
because this is how we've been taught. This is how we've been shown. This is how we've been guided. This is all we know. You explain things so well and
Yeah,
all
you
there
do.
because
You really
you know
do.
you think you see
I'm winging it.
things like we see things like when we think out of our consciousness and we think out of this society's realm and we think what we've been taught, look at what we can create. You don't know what you're creating here, but there's creation here. There's something established here that you're going to do something with. So it's a beautiful thing. And, this space is so growing and so booming and so exploding that I think we kind of got to step back sometimes and like look at what we're really doing because there's a lot of harm created in some of these things and there's a lot of education. So I mean, I think the biggest thing we're trying to create with what we're doing all here is education and information. I mean, without that, people need to get out of this corporate kind of multrum we're in, and it's repetitious and we're under our heads all the time. We're into our egos, we're into all this crap that's it's crap. It doesn't make no sense. I mean, this is not why we're here living. And speaking of here living, there's another medicine that I think is beautiful, and me and Michelle love this medicine, and it's legal everywhere, so nobody needs to be afraid of it. And it is the little frog called Cambo. And just recently, because I've been to the doctor recently, I hear there's a big peptide ban in America now. I mean, government's really trying to control peptides. And you talk about a medicine that has the peptides, what, 114?
120
Let's talk a little bit about Cambo. Great medicine, non-psychedelic, but
and legal.
purgatory.
I stumbled upon the Cambo before I was introduced to any psychedelics at all. And how that happened was I was dealing with this fibro, and I don't know what happened with my leg, but I literally I could not put any weight on my leg at all. Like I went to the ER because I was like, I can't, like, I couldn't put weight on it. I went to the ER, and they x-rayed it and it was okay, but they were going to schedule an MRI. I couldn't go to work. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I called one of my friends crying, and he's a beautiful person. He works with the Lakota, and he was like, "You need Cambo." And I'm like, what? And, he got in the car and drove up from South Dakota to where I was living at the time. And he gave me 3 treatments in 4 days. By the end of it, my leg was, I could put weight on my leg. I could walk. I felt amazing. My overall pain levels were dramatically decreased. I felt clear. I felt a lot more energized and refreshed and just clean. And I was like, people need this. And
Definitely,
I was
for
completely
sure.
blown away. And I started working with that before anything else because it helped me so profoundly with a lot of my physical issues. But and it doesn't do this for everyone, but it did activate my third eye, which was, because you feel that when it kicks in, you start feeling it in your subtle bodies and in your aura and in your field working. And, it would start, I'd be like, why do I feel it over here? Like outside of my body, but yeah, I started seeing like, what the things, what the Cambo was working on, what it was connected to. And I really, I became really passionate about that. And, I've had other people that have come, like I had somebody once who had an ankle injury. He did construction, and he hurt his ankle, and he couldn't not go to work, but he also couldn't work like that. And gave him the Cambo, and as soon as it was done, he got up, he put weight on his ankle, and he's like, it doesn't hurt anymore. And I'm like, well, there it is, So
There's just stories after stories after stories with that medicine. I mean, it just, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a regenerator or it's the peptides or what it is, but it
Combination
just
of all of
cures.
it.
It just cures. It's really, really a beneficial medicine, you know.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
again, it's another one that really will make you purge. So
Oh
there's
yeah.
something that's coordinating with these purges and these medicines. So what do you think moving forward? What do you see as our biggest challenges in this industry?
I know that everyone wants to help and everyone has good intentions. They have these experiences and they want to help. Um, but, you know, I think a lot of people neglect the fact that these substances are alive. They're cosmic. They have been here long before we've been here, and there are lineages of people that have been using them um, for a very long time. Um, and with that being said, the dominating spirit that has caused all kinds of problems throughout since the dawn of mankind is this spirit of colonialism and divide and conquer. And we think we know better, this ethnocentrism. And, it doesn't matter where you are, wherever, but you're like, okay, well, we do this better than you. So, we're going to come in and we're going to take this and we're going to use it. And it doesn't matter what you have to say or what you think, or the fact that you've been in the region and you guys have been doing this for thousands of years successfully, but like, I know better, we know better. And um
Absolutely. Yeah.
and I actually went to maps, and at the closing speech the stage was rushed, and something that one of the Indigenous panelists said really stuck with me because it makes perfect sense. He said, anytime, the Indigenous of any region are not consulted regarding what they know, and it's just taken and used however, like it ends up, because it's a cosmic substance and it's alive, it ends up completely biting us and burning us. And he used the example of the master plant, the coca leaf, and how, there became a cocaine pandemic. He used the opiates and opioids and how that was a master medicine. And then he even brought up tobacco and how that was a master plant of Turtle Island for the indigenous, and how, smoking in the tobacco industry completely destroyed it. And, from my experience, I have been learning from Tom Lane, who lived with Maria Sabina, the mushroom Mazatec shamana, when she was alive. And anybody can do mushrooms any day of the week, for sure. When you do it and you follow the protocol of the indigenous protocol, and you follow their instructions with how to utilize these sacred mushrooms, I mean, it is unlike anything anything we can fathom. And like that ceremony that I did with his tutelage was more powerful for me than any ceremony I've ever done, with what it shifted and moved and what occurred. Really taking the time for everyone who's really excited to help and really, understand that we are a steward and a vessel of these substances, and they work best through us as we empty and as we work through them and as we get out of the way, and as we show reverence and respect to really educate ourselves as much as we can, both through harm reduction, and integration protocols, because obviously, in different areas of the world, people deal with different problems because they have different traumas because there's different things that predominate each society and culture. But also really diving into the indigenous traditions, where you're called with respect, and reverence and honor, because, we always think we know what's best and we can make, we can make these substances, our cash cows, like that's what they did with tobacco. And now it's, one of the leading causes of death.
You
So
definitely explained all those pretty well, because if you think about it, we have damaged every one of those plants so far. And this all is indigenous, and this all comes from culture, and this all comes from lineage. And why are we changing something? Why are we changing things at all? We're already given these plants, and we're given these medicines, and we're given these healing modalities. Why are we thinking we're better than the universe that's been here for 1 trillion years? It baffles me every day.
I see a lot of different people putting out different facilitation programs. And while I think that's absolutely wonderful and it's great for people to get as much information and knowledge as they can, nothing is going to prepare you to serve any of these medicines or have any idea what to do or really keep people safe beyond practical experience and being supervised by a very experienced, trusted, safe, and seasoned practitioner in ceremony space. And not just for a couple ceremonies. I mean, this is very serious with people's health, with people's mental health. And people need to, not only have countless of these experiences, because you have to become the medicine. Your first initiation as a medicine person is going through your own transformation and really emptying out so that you can be a steward. But really just being in the space a lot with somebody who really knows what they're doing. And I don't say that in any way to gatekeep, because that's not what this is about. We all know
Responsibility. It's about responsibility. You hit it. I mean, people are coming to these medicines as last resorts. People are coming to these medicines traumatized. People are coming to these medicines with lineages of traumas. So trauma informed. There's nothing you're saying that's out of scope. It's all
I've been criticized a lot because I'm like, people will be like,
right.
They'll want to serve the toad and they'll be like, oh yeah, I've helped out with 30 ceremonies. And I'm like, what?
So Jessica, let's talk about how your physical health is now. We're going to have to wrap this up in a few minutes. And I really want to hear about how, because you came to this with the intention of healing your physical health. So how is it now?
It is phenomenal. It is better and better every day. I am actually in yoga teacher training right now, which I only enrolled in because I wanted to make sure that I learned the proper forms of all of the positions, because I didn't want to cause my body any more pain. But it's enabled me to do so much more physically, have so much more. I mean, I'm living a quality of life that I never imagined would be possible. And, I do still have struggles sometimes. I do still have, days where I'm in pain and, but it's like the nervous system, can take as long as it needs, I guess. And, but again, like I'm living a quality of life that I never imagined would be possible. So
it's beautiful. How can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram. My handle is the Sapo Priestess. So Sapo Priestess. And that's also for Facebook. I'm on Facebook. Or you can check out my website for One World Heart, www.oneworldheart.love.
Jessica, you are a very smart lady. It has been a joy listening to you talk. You explain things so well. I hope you'll come back and talk with us again.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It's a real honor, and it's incredible to be here after years and be doing this work. So thank you guys.
We love your story today. It's great. People are going to love this. And, it's just you spoke from the heart and you said it like it is. And that's what we appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, Michelle, another great show today, wasn't it, with Jessica talking about 5-MeO, some Bufo there, just educating the people. And she explained things so well.
She
So well.
did. She absolutely speaks with great clarity.
A really key takeaway that, I really never thought of is how she explained like the opioids and the tobacco and what we've done to those medicines. They were probably, as we knew them back then, kind of like used for healing purposes, and now they're all addictive. Pretty
Absolutely.
crazy.
I mean, they were all sacred medicines at one point and still can be used as sacred medicines. I mean, tobacco is used as a sacred medicine. There's hape, there's mambe. The poppy plants was a sacred plant, but they get abused. And even now they still get abused. So it happens.
And you look great today, by the way.
Thanks.
And what do we have coming up next week?
Okay, so we are going to be doing I'm just going to look at my cheat sheet. It's the Om Jungle giveaway. Okay, you guys, this is really cool stuff. If you follow us on Instagram, the Plant Medicine Path, Medicine with the Metals, follow us on Instagram, and we're going to be giving away a weekend at Om Jungle Medicine in Costa Rica. This is, we support this community as well as the tribe there, the Shawanawa tribe. That is our tribe who we give 5% of our proceeds to. Om Jungle Medicine is an incredible place. Mark and I were just there a few months ago, and we're going to be giving a giveaway to them. So it includes 2 ceremonies, all farm-to-table meals, common resting area. And let me tell you guys, the sleeping arrangements there are absolutely beautiful. Integration circle, the WhatsApp connection group, consultation, and their Maloka is unlike anything I've ever seen in my life. You guys.
Absolutely the beautifulest.
Right? It's built on ayahuasca vines. And it is big and beautiful and spiritual, and just sitting in that Maloka will bring you lessons. So we're giving away a weekend there. We're giving Costa Rica, and a beautiful place, by the way, just beautiful property way up there in the jungle. Absolutely.
Listen to monkeys and birds and just
the holler monkeys up there in the rainforest. It's beautiful. You get to pick the weekend. So follow us on Instagram for details. Other than that, we're going to be, we've got Christmas coming up this week. So our affiliate Mama Dose is going to be putting out some
Christmas
cool
already,
sales.
Michelle. We got 3 weeks till Christmas. December.
Well, I know, but the sales are coming next week.
Christmas special. What do we got?
Talk about it. Mama Dose.
Mama Dose. We got buy 3 chocolates, or they got buy 3 chocolates, get 1 free. They got a really good promotion that's coming out in December that I think is phenomenal. They're going to buy 3 90-day supplements, and they're going to get 4 gummy girls. That's like $120 value. That's a great value. And then we also got our sock full of truffles, don't we, Michelle? That's right. Mama Dose is offering a sock full of truffles for Santa. So I think it's going to be 25 truffles for $50 is what they're offering. So a lot of cool stuff coming down for Mama Dose. Our affiliate. We don't mention one of our affiliates is Kunta Kanta, Hapes, Hapes. They have hundreds, so many. Okay. We'll put them up next week. We'll talk about them a little more. Well, thanks. This has been a fun day, as always. Thanks for joining us. Medicine with the Metals. Mama Dose, Plant Medicine Path. That's right. Church of the Sacred Plants. Come find us. Love you. Ciao.